This is the Infinity Summit Group. Truth, passion, success.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Infinity Summit Group podcast. Today is July 17th, 2023. Welcome back, everybody. We had a very busy month so far, and we'll continue to be so. I'm Noah.
Xavier.
Logan.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about The Sound of Freedom, the new hit movie that has done freaking phenomenal.
Yes.
I went and saw it yesterday, and I went on the website because they offer you a QR code at the end where you can go purchase a ticket for another person or get free tickets if you can't afford it.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
That's not a spoiler alert.
I know, I'm just giving it for when we do
It'll
talk
be spoiled,
about it.
the movie.
Oh, yeah, the movie will be spoiled, so watch your ears. It won't come out till next week. That's 2 weeks it's been out, 3 maybe.
Yeah.
So, anyway, off this QR code, and I went on there to see if I could buy a ticket for someone else, and their goal was 2 million tickets to get bought for other people, and they were over 7 million yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, and rising. So
It says they've made over 85 million so far,
good.
which is
good. It cost them,
45.
what, $14 million to make the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 45 million up from last week when I went and watched it.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
That might be one of those movies that doesn't trail off as it gets older. It might just keep. It seems like it's just compounding.
Well, it has. It's gotten in more theaters since the first week.
There you go.
It was good though.
I mean, eventually it'll die off, but yeah, it's pretty sick. Extra awareness.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of the movie?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, you kind of, at least I went in there already knowing, like, obviously people get trafficked, like the details of it, but then going and seeing, like, their actual live, what would they call it, operations and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was pretty badass. And, yeah, it's just cool to see all the detail that goes into it, how they catch them, how the kids are taken, la-di-da-di-da-di. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's hard to watch, but good movie, you know. A must see.
Was it pretty rough to watch? I haven't seen it.
It's sad.
Oh yeah.
It's makes you hate people.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you're walking out of that theater, and it's dead quiet. Everybody's just walking out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear sniffles the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, people crying.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
I was wondering about that. It's got a PG-13 rating, though, so there's nothing, like,
No.
intensely graphic, right?
Only implied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very implied.
Yeah.
But nothing.
Still
Nothing crazy.
fucked, though.
Yes, it is fucked.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, the story is about a guy who is, like, hired by, like, he's a private detective to go in and, like,
No.
find the people.
He does not
No.
get hired. He does
So-
it for free.
Yeah, he worked for the government for a long time.
That's what I mean, though. And then they shut him down, saying, like, okay, we're shutting this project down, but then
Yeah.
he decided to do it by himself.
Correct, yeah. Him and his wife.
Because it was not in the U.S.
And not U.S. children.
Yeah.
Mexico,
Colombia?
Colombia, yeah.
Colombia.
But they were taken from everywhere, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it shows a bunch of statistics at the end. It's crazy. So, it's like the biggest
Illegal trade.
illegal trade now, yeah. Bigger than
Yeah.
drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Yeah, it was over $150 billion industry per year.
That's so weird. Is it? So this is like mainly happening in Colombia, where this is like
no, America is the number one consumer and producer of it.
consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And producer of child porn and sex trafficking.
That's so wild because you don't see it like every day. That's not something you generally like think about.
Yeah.
And shit's happening all over the place. Probably not in Utah as much, but
Yeah.
Utah is massive
I-15
for it, yeah.
I-15 is one of the main freeways for it.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, dude. 'Cause it's
Surprise.
Cuts right through the
Surprise,
middle.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it goes on forever, so yeah. Utah's prime suspect for it.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my students the other day, and he was a cop who worked in child exploitation, and he said they were busting people all the time on I-15 and elsewhere in Utah.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool to get into, but I don't know how much I
That'd
could
be
take of that.
brutal.
Now, did you guys listen to Tim Pool? He has Tim Ballard on.
Yeah, it was so good.
He had Tim Ballard on?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Tim
On
Ballard
Friday?
is the actual
Yeah.
guy in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the actual guy in the movie?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the guy that...
No, he's the guy in real life that was portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about...
Wait, wasn't Tim Ballard the producer, too?
No,
No, it's some of his friends.
Angel Studios, based out of Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that's a rough one to hear him talk about shit, because he gets a little more graphic into what he was watching as... and it's just like, oh my hell.
Oh, yeah,
That's a
I'm
rough
sure.
one.
It just eats away at your soul.
He said day one. They asked him to be a work in child exploitation, and because he was religious or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess religious people take it better for some odd reason. Like
Because they
it
have
doesn't-
God to back them up.
Yeah.
That's why.
But he said he had to watch a video because he's got to catalog it all.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he stopped halfway through and went home and checked all of his kids out of school and just sat there and cried with them for hours.
Fucking
Holy
That'd
hell.
be tough.
And he
Yeah.
said it was the hell.
Just from the video.
hmm
That's wild.
It's cool though, because you know that necklace is given to him
Yeah.
from that kid. That
From the
actually
kid.
happened.
Yeah.
Like the name and everything was in real life.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's
Just
cool hearing
fucking
him tell that
crazy.
story.
Yeah.
Because in the story, when he's telling it, what really happened was he
I'm gonna
got
have to
the
watch that.
thing, right? And he goes home, and his kid sees it. His kid that's the same age as this boy that he saved.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what's this? How'd you get this?" And he's like, "Well, I got it from a kid that I helped." And he's like, and his son sees it, and he's like, "No way, they got your name on it. How did they get your name on it?" And then that kind of convinced him because he's all, "Fuck, he was ready for it, you know. Someone was ready for me to help."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that he's still doing it to this day. Like,
hmm
Yeah, they have it
he's
the
still alive.
OUR Operation Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
As well as the Nazarene Foundation.
My question is,
Yeah.
is he doing this illegally or like just on his own? Like
He
fuck
works
it?
with the government wherever he's at. He sets
Yeah.
up big stings.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the movie they get a private island and they get all these traffickers to bring 100 kids or 50 kids or some
think
shit
it's
over
50.
there. Then they have all the SWAT show up and catch them all.
But it was a real operation. They showed video of it
Mhm.
in the actual movie. It's cool.
I'm going to have to listen to that one because that sounds dope.
It's a good listen.
Yeah.
They talk-
Timcast IRL, Tim Ballard.
Yeah.
They talk about they saved 200 kids while filming the movie. Kind of cool.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Well,
insane.
So
That's
better
awesome.
yet, the kids that were portrayed in the film, from what I've looked up, they were actually saved from sex trafficking, and then they were filmed in the movie as the main kids that were sex trafficked once again.
I wonder how that would like work with the PTSD thing, like going back in and
Was-
reliving
Kids
it.
are pretty
I don't
resilient.
Was that it? Because I heard they weren't told what they were portraying.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought in
I
that
don't know if they were
podcast-
told or not, but according to Google, they were actually saved from sex trafficking by Tim.
That's wild.
That is wild.
What do you mean by kids are pretty resilient?
Like, they can bounce back pretty damn quick. Yeah, they'll have things that last into their adulthood, right?
Yeah.
But kids tend to be pretty damn resilient, whether it be physical or emotional harm, whatever. They can bounce back pretty quick.
I guess with adults, they kind of like think about it more and they have to like process it longer.
Exactly. And as a kid, it's just like, wow, that's fucked up. Let's move on. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't speak from it all, but
Yeah.
yeah, seem to be pretty resilient. But yeah, my favorite fucking quote in that movie: "God's children are not for sale."
Yeah, that was pretty
And it's
powerful.
repeated multiple times throughout the movie. Just like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. You know, I almost started cheering and clapping on that part, and then I was like, oh, everybody's kind of sad. I don't want to disturb that for them.
Be that one person in the back.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Tell you what, Jim Caviezel, though, the actor, fucking nailed it. He did such a good job.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And it looked pretty damn close to Tim Ballard.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Like, they showed the images side by side, and when he was in his prime, I was like, holy cow.
They're the same.
Yeah.
You guys are making me want to buy a ticket right now.
You
worth
can
it
get
to
a free
watch it.
ticket if you need one.
Yeah, you need to
There's
watch
so
it, dude.
many. Whatever happens, you just got to watch it.
Yeah. It'll happen.
But yeah, I came home and bought a couple extra tickets for someone who can't afford them because I was just like, fuck yeah, we got to support this somehow.
Yeah.
Which also, Tim Ballard just started another foundation. He stepped down from Underground Railroad and the Nazarene Foundation so that he can, his new foundation is just going to be supporting other foundations. So choosing the best foundation for the job to get the kids out.
Yeah,
I think he called that Operation Spearhead or something.
that's cool.
But yeah, because he worked on the board on two of them, his own Underground Railroad and then someone else, I can't remember, really famous guys, but the Nazarene Foundation. But he wanted to start another one that just picked the right foundation for the job to get these kids out. So then that's what he's starting.
That's cool. Do they go and operate in more countries than just Colombia and the U.S. now?
From what I understand, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they
he was
mentioned
in-
Africa.
And Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
We got a shitload of kids out of Ukraine, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It'd be cool to be a part of it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whether it be donating or something, I don't know.
He talks about going to Ukraine because his wife is like, you gotta save these kids in Ukraine, and he's like, yeah, okay, but they're dropping bombs, you know. And then he said Mel Gibson called him and told him he had some kids over there that he wanted him to save, and then he's like, okay, I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said when he got over there, the Ukrainian government gave him a list of 10,000 kids. So he's like, we can't find these people.
Holy shit.
So he's just been, yeah. So they've just been, I guess he's just been trying over there for a bit.
I didn't know Mel Gibson was into all that too.
No, he's filming a documentary about Tim Ballard.
Oh.
Yeah, when
heck
he went over to Ukraine, he wanted to film it so people could see what was going on. So now
Uh-huh.
Mel Gibson's producing a documentary about going over there, and then they decided to make it longer.
Let's go, Mel. I think this might be what unites the right and the left, boys.
Yeah.
I actually agree with this because I was talking to some kid at work, and he's like, his whole family is very far left.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch your show with my friends, and his friends are all like, what up, gangsta?
Mhm.
So I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't know anybody that you'd ask, like, do you think, like, sex trafficking is okay? And they're like, yeah, totally. Nobody.
Well, yeah, especially sex trafficking of kids, right?
Yeah, especially
It's
kids.
like, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know it if you watched the news. I mean, they're trying to shut down the movie, you know?
Mhm.
It's a conspiracy theory, it's this or that.
QAnon. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about that. They had this shit made 5 years ago. And then at the end of the movie, they go through and list, or like name off people and organizations that attempted to stop them from like getting it out there. And Congress is one of them, which is just, it irks my blood.
It's weird. And like, I was listening to Tim Ballard, he said, wittingly or unwittingly, they're running interference for pedophiles and sex traffickers. These people trying to tell you to not watch the movie.
Willingly.
Right, but even if you don't attribute willingness to it, they're still doing it. They're
Mhm.
running interference. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even America's border, they're sending all these kids out to who and to where? They're sending them out to fucking sponsors.
Yeah.
Who are these sponsors? Nobody knows. What's their background? Nobody checks. Where are the kids now? Gone.
That shit's
was-
actually crazy.
It was a massive percentage of kids who cross the border that get sexually abused.
Yeah, and who's doing all that? That's our
It
government.
was like 80-90%.
Of the U.S.
Yeah.
border?
Yeah, of kids who
Or
cross
coming in.
over illegally, yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
get sexually abused and or trafficked.
what were
Like,
they saying? They send
huge
these
amounts.
kids over with a note that says, "This is my sponsor," just a name, and then they send them and an address to somebody that they've never met, no vetting. They just send them out. It's
Because there's too many of them.
yeah,
pouring
they're
across.
sending them to anybody. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. My question is, how is it stopped?
Yeah.
Like, what's the solution to it? Because obviously you can have as many groups as you want, but it's not going to stop it. Not even close.
No, even if you save 50 kids out of 10,000 missing kids, like,
Well, it's better than nothing.
it is.
Sure.
But how do you stop it outside of just straight pillage and plunder? You know?
And I'd be in support of that. For people that do that, kill them.
Where's Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
need a dark Batman.
A very dark Batman.
I was listening
Yes.
to Tim Pool talk about that, and he said the movie made me rethink the death penalty because he's hard liberal left. Can't kill anybody ever. He's
Yeah.
like, I made me rethink the death penalty.
Let's just have it as a community, though, instead of like the government deciding that. Or would I don't know. I don't know.
No trial by jury.
Well, it just seemed like
As fuck.
something you said a while ago on the podcast stuck with me. Like you don't want to give the government that power to put people to death.
No.
No.
So how do you solve that? By killing people?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because some people do need to die. I believe, for sure.
Yeah, the problem with that is that it's going to be used as a Me Too thing, where someone calls you a pedophile and you're instantly
Fucked over.
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, exactly. So we definitely need due process. We need all that. The courts, juries, all that jazz. But yeah, it's going to be a tough time, especially if movies like this continue to come out, and it sounds like they will.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, we're going to get some Me Too people for sure. Now, granted, we're probably going to catch a lot of bad boys, but and girls, but yeah, at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of innocent people that are crucified for this.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All you got to say is that person's a pedophile, and then they're crucified forever.
Mhm.
Anybody who heard that is going to spread that, and they're fucked. You know?
Yeah. Legally safe, but publicly crucified?
Correct.
Yeah.
And not publicly safe. That's for damn sure.
Nope.
No.
We were just talking, me and my girlfriend, about how many people, like pedophiles, get stabbed in prison. Like
They die.
they die. If
They
you
get
go,
dead.
if you're a pedophile in prison, you're dead. You're
Yeah.
fucked. Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but they get
But-
sent to safe zones too. They get
And-
sent to all the safe areas with other pedophiles.
And solitary and all this shit to keep them safe because they know they're going to get ganked.
Yeah.
But yeah, if their
That's-
paperwork is pulled, they're fucked.
Yeah.
In general pop, oh yeah.
That's one of the things they threatened one of the pedophiles with in the movie. Do you want
Yeah.
us to put you in this cell?
Really?
Yeah.
You will be raped and then stabbed.
Yeah.
I think there was a story of a gym class teacher that was sexually abusing his students that went to jail and he got stabbed to death. I think this was in Utah. I don't know the exact school or
If you're in there
who
already.
it was, but
Dude, one of the teachers from my middle school was sneaking kids in after hours.
Oh, dude,
What?
that's a weird story.
Yeah. I don't think he was doing anything, but it was way sus. And
There's just so much weird with that
yeah, I don't know
situation.
if he went to jail or
He
what.
did. He was
Did
in
go to
jail
jail?
for quite a while.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
haven't followed up on it.
I don't
but
even think his certs were pulled from being a teacher.
Fucking hell.
In fact, I'm pretty sure he
it's
is
a bummer
teacher.
because I like that guy too.
I did too. Shout out Mr. Talley. Lucas Talley.
Yeah.
He was a
So-
science teacher, or what did they call it? It wasn't science, it was...
He was doing some science.
Yeah, but what's the actual name for it? Either way, that's what he was doing. He would sneak kids. I don't know if it was kids or a kid. It was a girl, into his suitcase.
It was
Into
in
his
the trash can, wasn't it?
no, it was a
A
suitcase.
suitcase? Fuck me. Dude.
why?
And I'll get to that part. Into the school, into his classroom, lock the door, have the cover over. You know how people can't see in.
Yeah.
And so she would get out, and then he just wanted to hang out with her. It was during COVID, so everything was shut down. And so, yeah, they would just sit there so that he could be around younger people to hang out with. That's no shit.
That's it.
This is a real deal.
That's the alleged of everything
I
that
was
happened.
gonna
That's what he
say.
got charged for, all of it. There was nothing.
No evidence.
What
that-
would have made you think?
Well, there is
yeah, I'm
evidence.
gonna
There's
put this
fucking
kid in
video
a
of it.
suitcase?
I'm just saying that's a lot of steps to go through just to
Yeah.
hang out with someone.
And he's
oh,
married and he has kids and everything. At least was married. I don't know if he still is.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'd fucking divorce his ass.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
He was a cool ass
Wow.
teacher though. He was fun as hell.
Funny as shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I heard,
during COVID.
When I heard that, I was like, "What in the fuck?"
Yeah. Is this real?
Yeah.
He didn't get fired or anything.
I'm pretty sure he still has all of his certs and stuff to be a teacher.
Just be. What are the odds you get hired again, though?
Yeah.
100%.
Someone's gonna snag you.
He didn't do anything
Yeah, I
wrong, technically.
It's just
He
so
just wanted to
iffy,
hang
dude.
out
Kinda
with.
weird.
Yeah, he did like the finest gray line possible.
It was, yeah. I was like, wait, what?
It's so
Sneaker in after hours to hang out.
I don't think it was after hours, bro.
Oh no
I
shit.
think it was during hours when other teachers were there and everything. You can
My
look up the
God.
article.
That is
I thought
so
it was
crazy.
after school.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that person around my kids.
Yeah, me either.
Fuck no.
No.
It's a
We got to find out the finer details of this,
little
man.
too close.
Either way, yeah, we know people that have dabbled in the weird arts.
The dark arts,
Yeah.
dark magic.
I don't know what the hell, but it was interesting. Caught me out of the blue. I was like, what the fuck? This guy? Really? And then it also makes you wonder, like, was it, like, of course there was some legit claims to it because they got the videotape of him with the fucking suitcase and everything or whatever it was. And at the same time, it's like, how much of this was talked about from the girl? How much of this was, legit?
Yeah.
Because they have him on at least some stuff.
Dude, what the
Otherwise,
fuck are
he
the
wouldn't have
parents
gone to jail.
doing?
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
They need to be just decked hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known like teachers to hang out with their students outside of school and stuff. Like I've went to lunch with one of my teachers before when I was in high school because he was a cool guy. You know?
This is middle school.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. And it's,
It is
and it's a
weird.
girl with a guy teacher. Extra weird.
Yeah, Utah teacher who smuggled student into class in a bin
In a bin.
takes plea deal.
Good lord.
He's 38 years old. Oh, he was charged with 2 counts of second-degree felony kidnapping. Took a plea in abeyance.
Plea of abeyance.
Yeah, and on June 8th to 1 count of unlawful detention of a minor.
That's really right in the line.
If
Yeah.
anybody doesn't know what a plea of abeyance is, it's saying that you're pretty much on probation and you're going to do the right thing and not have any charges or fuck up for the next period of however long they tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says Tally, that's his last name, was a teacher at South Hills Middle School in Riverton when police say he developed an emotional relationship with a 14-year-old girl during the 2019-2020 school year when COVID-19 forced shutdown. The girl emailed Tally because she was having trouble turning in assignments. But a day or two later, he began texting her repeatedly and would send her a song every day.
That was a day away from turning bad.
I want to say it was because of the parents that this all came to light.
Okay, and this means he did have bad intention right here. I never read this before. It says Tally stated that he had thoughts of being with the girl, but knew he would have to wait 6 or 7 years before he could get to that point. He stated that he had a love for the girl. He then realized he needs the validation from young female students for his ego, and he thrives on it.
Isn't that called grooming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just...
So he was a pedophile that just discovered it.
And was following the laws?
Yeah. For this to be legal, I must wait. At least there's that. But good lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he honestly needs to be in prison for. It says, search warrant affidavits served in the case state that Tally admitted to viewing young girl pornography, as well as multiple inappropriate conversations with multiple teenagers and former students. So he had bad intentions. He just was
Trying
using
to
the
be
law.
safe about it.
Not fully acting on them.
Yeah,
It's very strange.
that's a
He
confusing.
just didn't
man.
want to go to jail.
Yeah,
So he wanted to wait.
but he fucking
That's
went to
too
jail.
damn bad.
Yeah, we're gonna sneak you in a bin. What
That's
the fuck?
fucking weird.
That is so weird, dude. We all had this teacher. Me, Noah, Sabrina, probably Thomas. It's fucking weird, dude. Oh, yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What's been going on with your flight stuff? You got some good stories recently.
I've had a few interesting stories. Hard segue.
Well,
We beat that topic to death a bit.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
watched
did.
the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was damn good.
Yes, Sound of Freedom. Go watch it.
10 out of 10.
Fly school. First one I was doing an engine break-in flight, so they replaced an engine for a multi-engine airplane, and I had to stay pretty low and just fly, this power setting for this long, this power setting for this long, yada yada.
Wait, what's a brake engine?
An engine break-in
Engine
flight.
break, yeah.
I just told you they replaced the engine, and then you have to do a break-in flight where you specifically have to set it certain power settings, all this jazz.
Okay.
So we were staying about 1,500 feet to 1,800 feet above the ground. Flew out to Wendover, flew back, and we were out by Promontory Point when we hit a fatty downdraft.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
It was scary. So my student was like, "Oh, we got a descent rate of 1,500 feet per minute." And I look at it, I'm like, "Oh, it's 17, 18, 2,000 feet per minute." Okay. So I took the controls, went full power, and started pitching up because our airspeed also started increasing a lot. I was like, "Uh-oh." Pitched up. For those of you who don't know, this with the airspeed increasing like that and downdrafts happening, that is a huge indication of what's called a microburst. And a microburst is a massive downdraft that can be up to 6,000 feet per minute of downdraft. And I'm about 1,800 feet above the ground. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I start pulling out of this thing and turning as I'm full power in a multi-engine aircraft. By the time I broke out of the downdraft, pitching up and going full power, I had lost 700 feet.
Whoa.
And then we got the shiznat rocked out of us. So I reported to ATC that we had moderate to severe turbulence. They were asking if everyone on board was okay, if the aircraft was damaged, all this stuff. And I was just like, nope, looks like we're good, I don't think so. So we landed, and I step out of the plane, and my legs are just shaking like crazy. I'm like, because I was watching the ground get closer as I'm pitching up full power. I'm like, oh, no.
So basically, you're saying like a huge like burst of wind hit you guys,
Huge
like in
downdraft.
downward,
Yeah.
and you're like trying to pull up out of that.
Yeah, downdrafts. I mean, wind can happen in any direction, right? It just
Yeah.
so happened that this wind was pushing me towards the ground.
That's fun.
That's so fucking scary, dude.
It was scary. So after that, I was like, okay, that was screwed up. And I reported it, and you just see all the airplanes just disappear from that area. They're like, nope.
How's your student? Was he just like jelly?
I don't know if he knew the severity of the situation. This was his first multi-engine flight,
Yeah.
and
Dude, you gotta let them know the difference between single and multi-engine, and what the realities would have been in a single engine too.
well, single engine has one engine, multi-engine has more than one engine. It has two engines in this case.
Yeah, so without the second engine, do you think you would have been all right?
Maybe.
Exactly. So it is very
I
severe.
would have browned my pants a little more. But, yeah, after that, I was like, well, I'm glad this is my last flight today because that was one of the scarier situations I've been in. And then the other night, I got a call from upper management. I was taking my shirt off, ready to jump in the shower about 9 o'clock at night. And they're like, hey, we need a plane down in Vegas by the morning. I was like, oh, you're joking me. Okay. So I'm talking to them like, all right, how do you need, which plane do you need down? What do you need done? Blah, 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 blah. It was a multi-engine that they needed down there for a check ride that was happening in the morning. So I was like, okay, crap, let's get her done. And they're like, well, we're going to try to find you a student or an instructor to go with, or we'll just have you solo the plane down. Mind you, I'd been up since 3:30 in the morning. And so I was falling asleep on the couch. I'm like, I told them I'm not soloing it down, but I will, I'll take someone with me, help keep me awake, basically. So they found me a student. We went down. It took us forever to get fuel in the aircraft. We had to do self-serve fuel. Our card wouldn't work. My card wouldn't work. No cards would work. So I had to walk back, get a different card, walk. And this walk's probably half a mile to get back, and then go back to the fueling station, fuel it up. By the time we actually get out, it's like 11:30 midnight. It's like, man, this is going to be a long flight. And you guys, so what we normally fly is called a glass cockpit. So it's two big screens with a ton of information, super helpful. Like, really easy to fly day or night. It's like not a huge deal. This one is what's called a 6-pack, so it's just got like old-fashioned analog gauges, and then it's got a couple of small little GPS boxes on board. And that's what I was flying down at night to an unfamiliar airport. I was like, sweet, let's do this. So I planned out a route and everything for our altitude, and I was like, okay, dope. Got that plan. We finally get out about midnight, and we're going down there, and I'm just waiting for this moon to come out because it's pitch black outside. I can't see shit except for city lights. And the moon doesn't come out. It's a new moon. Like, I didn't see a sliver of moon that night. So we're flying through pitch black through the mountains, hopefully above the mountains, right? I planned to be above the mountains. Just flying basically over each airport, kind of skipping airports to get down to North Las Vegas. And it's dark as night. I couldn't see the mountains. I couldn't see clouds. I couldn't see anything, just city lights. Something funny about city lights is the dark patches between city lights start looking an awful lot like mountaintops and cloud tops when you're flying towards them. And so I was looking at them like, is that a mountain? Is that a cloud? We're about to hit a cloud. It's like, you better start climbing. We're not supposed to be in clouds at night. And I'm looking at all of our terrain like, shit, is that a mountain? Is it a mountain? We're like 3,000-4,000 feet above any mountain around. And we're still climbing. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is sketchy. Still going towards it. It's getting bigger. I'm like, ah. Anyway, we go past it, go into the city, and there's nothing. It's just the dark patches in the city. It looks exactly like cloud tops.
Fuck.
It's like, okay, well, that was weird. Let's go back down, go back to our 10,500, which is what we were cruising at. Coming up on the next city, I'm like, that looks like a mountain with trees on top right in front of me. We better start climbing. So we climb, and this mountain's growing with us. I'm like, oh my God, screw this.
We're dead.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, we're going to divert this way. So we go off to the side, and then like go around it. And it literally, I shit you not, it looks exactly like a mountain with trees on top. And I was just like,
what was it?
Oh my God. It was the dark patches in the city lights. And like we're turning off all of our lights. We're covering our cabin light, everything, like making it as pitch black as possible so we could try to see these things. Couldn't see shit. And so we're just like, mountain, no mountain, the whole way down. Eventually we end up following I-15 once we hit Cedar City. I-15 to St. George because you got like mountains on either side of that.
Yeah.
So we're shooting the gap there. And then between St. George and Vegas, it gets pretty quiet because we're both tired. It's 2 a.m, It's like, oh, we've been up 23 hours now, Finally going into Vegas, they give us a clearance through the Bravo airspace, which you're required to be cleared through. We're talking with the military station. They're like, yeah, you're cleared through the Bravo, whatever you got to do. So we go to North Las Vegas, and we go to put our landing gear down. Nothing happens. It's like, you're got to be shitting me right now. So landing gear, my student tries to put it down multiple times. No lights light up, nothing, just dead. It's like, that's not good. So I'm like, okay, maybe you're doing it wrong. I go to click it down a few times, nothing. It's like, oh, okay. By this point, we're like 3 miles from the airport, getting ready to land. We're like, okay, we need these gear down.
Did you declare an emergency?
No, not at this point. And I did not end up having to declare an emergency. So I went through a troubleshooting checklist. I checked all my circuit breakers. One of them was popped. I was like, oh, shit. Circuit breakers you can pop back in one time. If it pops out again, it's emergency time. Like, it's no good. So I popped it back in, click them down. I was like, okay, at least there's that. And then I see lights, see 1 green, 2 green. And then the last one, like, doesn't go for a while. Like, okay, come on. And it's one of my main tires. So I'm like, bro, I kind of need that. I like wiggle the light a little. Finally lights up. Okay, we got 3 green. So one of the checks you're supposed to go through is 3 green, 1 in the mirror. So you check you have 3 green lights showing that all of your gear down, and then there's a little mirror on the side of the airplane where you can see your nose gear down. And so I'm looking at that. It's pitch black at night with all the Vegas city lights under me. I can't see shit underneath my aircraft. I'm like, we're doing circles. By this point, we're doing circles just over the airport. I'm just like looking for the landing gear. Like, is it there? Is it there? My student's like, I think I see it. I think I see it too. Like, yeah, we're pretty sure it's there. And so we're like, okay, we're going to try to land
That
it.
is not what you want.
Yeah, so we went in, land, and we slam down. And then I just wait for that nose gear. We're still rolling. I'm like, okay, we're good. So we find a spot to park. Get out of the plane. I was like, man, I'm so fucking tired. Ended up finding an Uber eventually. Granted, I've had to pee for the last 2 hours, so I'm floating at this point. It's like, I forgot I had to pee when we couldn't put our gear down. But now that we're on the ground safe, I'm like, oh, boy. So sitting there needing to pee like crazy. Got this long walk back to the building, and then we go to summon an Uber. I'm making phone calls at 3 in the morning to people like, hey, the gear didn't come down. Hey, this. And trying to get all that figured out while I summon an Uber. The hotel they got for us was 30 minutes away. I couldn't get into the bathrooms because they're code locked. I asked for the code, and they gave me the wrong code. And I was just like, okay. So we're like, all right, let's go to the gas station. We'll hit the restroom, get some drinks, whatever we got to do for the night. And I go in the gas station, out of service. It's just like, oh, my God. Can I get a break? So we finally get to our hotel about 3:34ish in the morning. I shower up and hit the hay. Finally got to bed after a 26-hour day. Just like, yeah.
Damn.
I got 5 hours of sleep, and the next morning they're like, hey, you want to fly a plane out from so-and-so up to Ogden? And I was like, no, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Get me an airline up there, I can't do this. And we finally got an airline out. They wanted to take us to lunch to, thank us for bringing the plane down that night. So we went out to lunch and everything, and they had tickets that were available at 120 or 5. I had to choose 5 so we wouldn't be late. So we're sitting at the airport for hours and hours and hours, just like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I fell asleep on the plane back. I didn't wake up until we hit the ground. I was assed out, mouth open, and then finally woke me up when we landed. I was like, oh, okay, here we are. Finally got home that night about 10. So it was just like a couple of days of just shit. Just
That was awesome.
nom,
Dang.
I worked one more day after that and went to Bear Lake. Like, I can't do this anymore. So
That sounds fun.
it was a great experience. I don't want to repeat.
Okay.
That's for damn sure. I was just like,
Did they pay for the airliner?
yeah. Yeah, they paid for the airline. I sent reimbursements in for all the Ubers and stuff. And should be seeing all that money back, besides any food or tip,
Yeah. Wow, that's
So-
exciting.
It's intense.
It was very intense. It's just like one thing after another. And then they informed me the next morning. They're like, oh, yeah, the alternator was dead on the right-hand side. So what I think happened was because one of the alternators was dead. By the way, an alternator is something that connects to an engine and basically converts to electricity to power your electrical things. You got one in your car, too. So one of the alternators was dead. So the other one, I think, was overcharging, popped the circuit breaker on us the night before.
Mm.
And so they couldn't use that plane for the check ride anyway.
At least you got hours.
I would have gotten more hours the next day that I had to waste.
Yeah.
I would have gotten almost double the hours because I had a full-ass day planned. And
Brutal.
nope.
Damn.
So anyway, I was just like, yeah. They did fill the check ride slot with another check ride, which was good, but
That's good.
Can't they just fix the problem, like on the plane?
you'd think so. Not in time, though, because they had been planning all day to have a different multi-engine there because theirs broke.
Yeah.
And then all their plans fell through, one after another, until they finally had to get the last resort. They're like, please bring a plane down. It's like a 4-hour flight to get to Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, it was a 4-hour flight, or close to, because we had a bunch of headwinds, too.
Yeah.
So the whole way was just like fighting against the wind. Yeah.
How many energies did you have that day?
I had one in the morning, and then I had a Red Bull as I was going down, as
Nice.
well as coffee.
Reasonable. And lip pillows.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
So
Sounds pretty exciting.
it was a good experience.
Yeah.
You should have seen the priceless look on my student's face when the landing gear didn't come down, though. He's like looked over at me. This was his third flight in the multi.
Oh, fuck.
So I had him have controls most of the time because he's just flying the plane, getting experience,
Yeah.
It's whatever. I already planned the route, got everything ready. And yeah, when that landing gear didn't come down, he just looked at me like, "Oh fuck!" And I'm like, "We're a few steps away from that. Trust me. Let's do a couple things first."
What would have happened if you couldn't get the landing gear down? Would you have like landed in the desert somewhere?
No, so if the circuit breaker didn't work, then there's a couple things I could have tried, and I would have done the emergency gear extension, which basically just floods the whole hydraulic system that the landing gear uses, just floods it together because it's got a high and a low pressure system that it uses to bring it up and down.
Yeah.
It just floods the whole thing, equalizes the pressure, so it drops with gravity. And then I would have to G-load the aircraft, so I got to do like whoop-dees and all sorts
So
of
it
fun
doesn't
stuff.
fold back in or something?
Yeah, just to make sure it's locked into place before I make that landing, and then they have to submit it to maintenance to get that all fixed back up. And then if that didn't work, then I would have landed right on the runway belly up. No landing.
It's not good.
Oh yeah, just all the way down, baby. And then walk away like a G.
I wonder how often that happens. Like just landing without gear.
It happens fairly often on accident.
Really?
Yeah, we had one. We had someone. It wasn't an accident, but a couple weeks ago, someone did a gear up landing at Ogden.
No way.
Not at ATP.
Oh.
Yeah, it was someone else just in their private plane. I think their gear wouldn't come down at all, and they're just like, "Okay, here we go." It's not bad. You just can't control it after you land, so you better make sure you're pretty well aligned.
Yeah.
Well, and it probably ruins the airplane.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Indeed. It scrubbers up the whole bottom. It'll probably ruin your props. It'll ruin just everything.
Yeah.
And when your prop gets hit, your engines have to be replaced. Like,
Everything.
yeah.
Did you watch that? Did you see it?
I didn't watch it. I saw the plane out there after.
Was it just fucked?
No, it just looked like a plane that landed belly up. It's got scrapes on the bottom. That's pretty much it. And then probably ruined props.
Oh, that's good. They landed it well.
Yeah, generally gear up landings don't result in fatalities. It just really sucks.
Yeah. And it scares.
Oh, yeah, it'd be terrifying. Yeah.
Be kind of fun, though.
Yeah, either way, having that happen on top of everything else at the end of the day, the end of a 24-hour day at that point, I was just like, why? Why, God? But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason I got this cold. My body's like, bro, what did you just go through? What the fuck? We need a break.
Probably.
But,
Well, that's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah.
good experiences. That's all outside of just the daily student trying to wreck us or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's fun.
That's
I'm
sweet.
excited to not have to deal with that anymore.
Exactly.
It's giving me gray hairs. Quite literally, Tammy's been finding a lot of gray hair.
Really?
Yeah.
You're aging quick.
I guess so. Aging like fine wine, I guess, huh? Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, hard segue. I've
Hard
got
seg.
2 questions for you guys. One, if you had life in prison, like no chance of parole, no chance to get out, what would you do? Would you off yourself, continue to live, or like start hunting down pedophiles? What would your plan be?
That'd probably be a good plan.
Start with
It's hard to
B
say.
and see where we end up. Because I could easily end up at C,
Mm-hmm.
At sea?
killing pedophiles.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like on the ocean. I'm like,
I was
nope,
gonna
I don't
start
think
with
they do
sea.
that.
I'd get ripped first and then just see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably just work out and then become a gang leader.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, if you're in there forever,
Yeah.
why not fucking be the best and make it known?
There you go. I agree with that.
But who
Choose
knows,
C.
dude? If you're ever in that scenario, who the fuck
Yeah, you
knows?
don't
You
know.
might be just
yeah.
the vagina of the group,
I was talking about that. If that ever happened, I'd probably like try to do that, get ripped, hunt down like pedophiles and shit. But if that
Yeah.
didn't work, I'd just kill myself. Like that, there's no point living in prison. I wouldn't do it. And then question number 2: when do you guys think it's okay for the government to take children away from their family?
Ooh.
Because I know there's already a system for that, like
It's so
child
hard.
abuse. That's what I'm saying, because it's your family and that's like your kid.
If there's deliberate child abuse, but then a lot of stuff like a kid falling or hitting their head or something can be mistaken as child abuse. So that's a very fine line that they often do get wrong.
But
Prime
you guys-
example is that's happened in our family.
You do think child abuse should be warranted for them to take it away, though? If
Oh,
they were
shit,
actually
yeah.
getting like beaten, not like spanked, because that's
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
No fucking
Absolutely.
parent should be able to do that and just get away with it. The child is fucking
It's a
useless.
child, yeah.
Yeah, they're not useless, but
Well, they
like
can't defend
defenseless.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Like they
absolutely,
say.
yeah.
Rather, what do they say? Cast a millstone around your neck and cast you into the abyss rather than let you harm another child.
Exactly.
So says Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like the two sins? Like never take an innocent life and never.
Like unforgivable sins?
Yeah, the two unforgivable. Never take an innocent life and never deny the word of God.
I don't know what they are. I know the second one is
I think that's what it was.
don't deny God if like you know he's real.
Yeah.
I can look it up though.
Not that.
So
that
what's
has
an
a-
innocent life?
A baby. You don't think babies are innocent?
Not
Just
according to
kidding.
the Catholics.
No.
Well,
You have original sin.
I don't believe in original sin.
How the fuck would that work?
It's passed down, bro. It's hereditary
Oh
sin.
Lord, the Catholics are just like the government.
Isn't that from like Adam and Eve? Like you're sin
Yeah.
just because you're alive and you're
Mhm.
human.
That's why
Yeah.
they baptize you right when you're born.
Correct. Just fucking
I'm pretty
dumpster
sure.
bait you.
They do. That's so funny to
Have
me.
you, have you seen the Pope with the squirt gun?
Squirt gun
No.
during COVID.
Nuh-uh.
No, real.
Oh, it's real.
Legit, bro.
Yeah.
Spray him with some holy water.
Shut up,
It's
dude.
pretty good.
Fuck.
Bro, it's the same diff. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the holy water. It's
That
Jesus'
is
water.
funny.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe in no original sin. I don't even
Yeah.
believe in sin. The hell does
I-
that even mean?
I do believe in right and wrong now. I remember that whole conversation we had with Mo where I was kind of like, oh, it's just things that happen, but now I believe there is kind of a right or wrong and things you shouldn't do.
I can't.
Yeah, there's stuff you should and shouldn't do.
I can't find a
But
second
it's right
one.
and wrong to whom?
Only
Right, but
blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. That's the
If
only one
you're
I can
taking
find.
a life or taking someone's
Yeah.
free will, that's wrong for them. Why is that right for you? How could that be right for anyone?
Why would you do it if it wasn't right for you in the moment?
Yeah, 'cause they like it. There's no way we're
Then
going
they're a
down
fucked
this
up
thing
person.
they did.
Not again.
Yeah, no.
Hey, of course, yeah. There's lots of fucked up people.
I'm just saying there's like, I mean, I guess it depends on your moral compass, but to me there's a right or wrong. Like,
Yeah, it does depend on your moral
Yeah.
compass.
yeah.
Well, every person has
all
a
an
right or
illusion.
wrong.
Everybody has one though,
Yeah.
except psychopaths. They don't have one.
It's all an
I don't know.
illusion. And so is
It's
death.
the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just blaspheming against
I thought there was just the
Holy
one
Spirit.
original sin,
Mhm.
or the one unforgivable sin, right?
Yeah.
What's that? Blasphemy?
Blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. So in
Turning against God when you know Him.
yeah, so
Basically.
the example they give here is somebody had met Jesus and Jesus had come to him and told him, "I am God," and he had seen him perform miracles, healing the blind and shit, and still said, "Yeah, no, I don't believe that. You've got a demon in you."
Yeah, but
So
then
that
there's
is-
the whole thing of like, beware of false gods. So it's like, how the fuck do you even know in the first place anyway?
I think it's more like
Just a
if
prank,
you
bro.
were if you were a prophet of God and then said, "Nah, dog."
This
Basically.
guy's just a follower that he's speaking to.
Mm.
That Jesus showed him, that he was God, and said no. He witnessed irrefutable evidence that Jesus was working miracles in the Holy Spirit, yet they claimed that he was possessed by the prince of demons, Beelzebub. That was...
He's got some pretty good power too, so it's possible. Not in
Yeah.
that specific case, but
Yeah.
I get
I
it.
know, I think it's knowing without a doubt that this is
Yeah.
God's
Yeah.
work, and you still being like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
Nah.
Just like out of spite being like, no.
yeah. That's how I understood it too.
Otherwise, it doesn't make sense because Jesus also says, "Let them blaspheme against me and let it be forgiven." So you
So
can say-
contradicting then.
no, if you don't know, if you don't
Oh.
like, if he doesn't show you like that I am God personally, basically, you let it be forgiven.
Yeah.
I see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, go watch The Sound of Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's a damn good movie.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah.
Hodge twins.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Peace out.
Peace out.